Huckabee is joining us now, host of Huckabee here on the Fox News Channel. You had a very quiet week.
Yeah, pretty quiet.
Yeah, we'll get to some of your comments and the controversy surrounding them in just a moment. But first, we want to get your take on some of the news of the day this morning, which is another exemption from the Obama administration as it relates to Obamacare. This time, it's the Little Sisters. The Little Sisters were now found to be exempt, the nuns, the group of nuns over the contraception mandate. But the administration had come out right away after this story broke and said they will not be exempt. Absolutely not. There's no reason for them to be exempt. All they need to do is fill out that piece of paper and they're fine. Well, now we hear word they are exempt. What happened?
Well, I think the Supreme Court made a good decision. It's not a final ruling. It's not the definitive word, but it's a very important preliminary step in recognizing that the government has no right to tell a religious order how much it can believe. You can't have a government defining the limitations of faith and belief. And that's, in essence, what Obamacare was being forced upon with these nuns.
Is this a precedent, though, that's going to have reverberations across Obamacare and for other organizations?
Well, let's hope so. I mean, Hobby Lobby is a company that could go out of business. And these are people who are Christian people who have strong pro-life feelings and credentials, convictions. They're not going to violate them, even to the point that they have said that if they go out of business, they go out of business. I think that's a remarkable and courageous stand on the part of companies who have decided that their liberty and that their ability to really be Americans is so sacred that they're not going to let a runaway government run right over them and trample their rights, which is where we're headed under this administration, under Obamacare.
But how shocking they even have to take a stand against that kind of overreach, which is purely political. Now, Wendy Davis, who's running for governor in Texas, is running on two things. She's running on abortion. She's strongly, adamantly, enthusiastically in favor of it.
At any time, under any circumstances, with no restrictions.
Right, not enough. Yeah. And that she wants more. And also on her biography. And her biography, she's explained it as single mom, raised these kids, went to Harvard Law School. Turns out, according to the Dallas Morning News, investigated this, a lot of the details here are untrue. Her husband paid for law school, and then she gave up custody of her kids because she wanted to go be a lawyer. Will this affect the race at all?
If she were a Republican, she would be toast. It would be over for her. The media would never let up. They would be relentless in saying that she was disingenuous, she was inauthentic, that she had lied, she'd made up things, she had embellished. I mean, every adjective that could possibly be applied would be applied to Wendy Davis if she were a Republican. But because she's a Democrat, they're going to say, well, it really is no harm, no foul. Here's the sad thing. Wendy Davis didn't need to embellish her story. She still is a Harvard Law graduate. That's significant. There are plenty of things in her biography that are strong enough for her to run on without making stuff up. It's like when Blumenthal in Connecticut made up his Vietnam War record that he didn't have. He survived it. Would a Republican have survived making something like that up? I doubt it.
Well, and what's disturbing about it, too, is her defense on this is that she needs to learn about using broad language. It wasn't just broad language. I mean, they were complete lies. The year of her divorce supposedly was at 19, but really it was 21 and on, and there were other things as well. So, I mean, are Texans really going to want to vote for her? If you can't trust her on the campaign trail, how do you trust her in office?
Well, I mean, she clearly stretched beyond the truth. You know, I remember when I made my first spacewalk for NASA. It was an extraordinary moment. I've tried to be very careful not to oversell the whole experience of being on the moon and taking that spacewalk.
What did it feel like?
You were kind.
It was extraordinary.
You were kind. You brought me a space rock. I was very touched by that. That was very great.
And you know, I have some more for the staff here.
Right.
I'll add it to my Medal of Honor in my display case.
But meanwhile, Wendy Davis, though, and her staff, the controversy doesn't end there because this may be the thing that really hurts her. Her campaign team caught mocking her opponent, Greg Abbott, for being in a wheelchair. Take a look at this.
I'm really wondering how this is going to work out since he's in a wheelchair and most of the slogans are stand with Wendy. Yeah. That's in our subconscious now. So it's interesting to me from a psychological point of view how it's going to play out.
What I think is amazing is he's in a wheelchair, but he has no sympathy for anyone or anyone.
He may have a personality disorder.
First of all, not good looking. He doesn't speak very well. He doesn't have a good personality, and he's in a wheelchair.
Oh, and all the people laughing in the background.
There is not enough soap in all of Procter & Gamble to wash out the mouth of somebody who would say something like that. You know, I know Greg Abbott. He's a great guy. He's smart. He's courageous. He's overcome a lot. For him to be subjected to that kind of contempt, that kind of just really haughty attitude towards someone who is disabled, I can't imagine anyone justifying that. It's just abhorrent.
Yeah, at 26, he was hit by an oak tree while running and been in a wheelchair ever since.
Yeah.
But let's make sure we read this. Wendy Davis gave us this statement on that. The language used in this video about Greg Abbott is abhorrent. Greg Abbott has persevered through a great personal challenge to raise a family, have a productive career, and for that, he deserves our respect.
That from Wendy Davis. All right. Well, Governor Huckabee is going to stick around for his reaction to this.
Pretty clear that he doesn't believe women should have birth control. I think he has an issue with women's equality overall.
Some women out there probably were wincing when they heard that.
It's gross.
That video is on in the middle of a dungeon somewhere. Well, that's the mainstream media slamming him for his comments, taken right out of context. The governor gets his chance to set the record straight. That's next.
Plus, want to avoid fighting with your spouse like this? The simple solution that's already in your house and could keep the peace.
Alcohol?
Questions and nag the whole damn thing.
You think that I nag you?
That's all you do. All you do is nag me.